You know, when I made my review of Risk about a week ago, it reminded me of Monopoly for the Nintendo Switch. That game is actually something I reviewed back when I didn't only make video reviews. It was a text-only review that is now kind of just lost on the blog. So I wanted to go back, dive through Monopoly for a little while, and make a proper video review. As such, this is my review of Monopoly for the Nintendo Switch. When it comes to gameplay, Monopoly is a finance and property-based board game. As you play through each game, you'll be navigating yourself around with dice rolls, purchasing property on tiles you land on, and gaining rent money whenever another player lands on your property. Now, as far as what's in this version of the game, it's a little bit limited compared to Monopoly for the PS4 and Xbox One. When you go to start up a game, you have 5 different boards that you can choose from. You've got 3 living boards that have a lot of animations and 3D models all across everything that's not the tiles. And then you've got the 2 classic boards, the original and the Rabbids board that is also available on PS4 and Xbox One via DLC. When you create a game on any of these maps, you can use custom or classic rule sets and have up to 6 players combining you, other human players, as well as AI. There's also the online option if you don't want to do anything local or don't have friends around to play with you. When you actually get into the game, it's very classic Monopoly play. Each player rolls a dice on their turn and moves around the board, purchasing properties they land on and paying other players on owned properties they land on. It's really a game that's big on finances, property trading, and overall just making as much money as you can until only one player is left. This game also has a little bit of uniqueness in the form of motion controls. You can shake the Joy-Cons to roll your dice during each of your turns. As far as longevity is concerned, I criticized the Switch version of Risk because it didn't have that many unlockables, and most of the unlockables weren't really that easily accessible for gameplay. Monopoly has the same sort of system where you have a bunch of cosmetic new token characters that you can use in the game, and you unlock them by fulfilling certain challenges as you go through different games. Not only are these challenges much easier to do than the ones in Risk, playable token characters have always been an important thing to players in Monopoly, so there's definitely a lot more usability and encouragement to do these challenges than in other games. But even with these unlockables, we have to talk about content and length in comparison with the price. The Nintendo Switch version of Monopoly was criticized from day one for its $40 price tag, especially when you pop over to the PS4 and Xbox One and realize that the Family Fun Pack is half the price with more content. Not just in the form of the other themed board sets that game has, like the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic set, but the board creator that the Switch version is also missing. This situation is helped a little with the fact that, like Risk, if you buy some other Ubisoft board games, you can get a little bit of a discount off of Monopoly, but you still gotta think pretty hard on whether or not it's worth that price. Now let's dive into controls for a moment because the game has noticeable input lag. With the physical button as well as touchscreen controls, there's about a second or 2 of lag between you hitting a button or command and the game actually working. Granted, this is a turn-based board game, so it's not a really huge issue, but it's very noticeable. That's the only problem I have with controls though, so let's dive into presentation. Visually, the game is very pleasing. All of the models on the classic and living boards have a lot of depth and detail and just look really pretty. While we do get a bit of slowdown in terms of frame rate because of all of this depth and detail, overall it's still pretty good. There's also the initial loading screen issue that I should make note of. When this game first launched, it had a bit of a glitch where loading screens could be infinite and never end until you closed out the game and restarted it. Thankfully, within about a week of release, it had been patched and fixed. And now let's get into battery life. On the original model, Monopoly has a battery range of 2 hours and 36 minutes up to 3 hours and 28 minutes. On the Nintendo Switch Lite, it has a range of 3 hours and 18 minutes up to 4 hours and 18 minutes. And on the V2 or Redbox 2019 model, it has a range of 5 hours and 11 minutes up to 8 hours and 20 minutes. In conclusion, This is definitely the best version of Monopoly available on handhelds, with beautiful living boards and many options for play. Unfortunately though, the lack of extra content compared to the Family Fun Pack from the other consoles, as well as the much higher price, makes this something you'll definitely want to wait for a sale before purchasing. Reviews to Go rates Monopoly for the Nintendo Switch a 7 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.